Rooster Creek Quilting in Holt Summit, Missouri is your one-stop shop for all your quilting needs and more. Their specialties include great customer rapport to assist you with finding that perfect fabric, notion, pattern, pre-cuts, and embroidery supplies. Rooster Creek also offers professional long-arm quilting services and classes and much more. Don't wait for the rooster to crow. Visit Rooster Creek Quilting at Holt Summit Plaza, Holt Summit, Missouri. It's a great place to go for all your quilting needs.
Once again to JCTV Quilting Inside and Out. It's where you get the scoop on the world of quilting. It's sponsored by Rooster Creek Company of Holt Summit, Missouri. Today is June 13th in a very warm city, the capital of Missouri, Jefferson City. And so we have a very special show today where we are talking about naturally a quilt guild and those happenings. Plus we have an interesting, shall we say, demonstration from a young lady with us today. In the first half we meet Miss Brenda Harvey, and Miss Schelly Smith. In the second half we will turn to Miss Kadi Easley. These three ladies will be sharing their quilting experiences and really hope to inspire you with their thoughts and share those shared experiences. So first, join me as I turn now and introduce you to Miss Brenda Harvey, who represents the Rooster Creek Quilt Guild of Holt Summit, Missouri. It's great to have you as a guest here on Quilting Inside and Out, Miss Harvey.
I'm Schelly Smith.
Oh, Schelly.
You got us backwards.
I've got them backwards.
That's okay. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Excellent. Okay, well, Schelly, we'll start things off, if I may, call you by your first name.
That's fine.
Now that I've got it straightened out. Please tell us a little bit about you and those highlights of your life that best describe Schelly.
I'm born and raised in Jefferson City, Missouri. I came back to Missouri after a few years away for college and what have you, and I taught school in the Jeff City schools for quite some time and retired a few years ago after 32 years of teaching. And
32 years.
32 years, And in my retirement, I decided to pick up quilting.
Excellent. That's, and I've seen your inspiration to the Quilt Guild. I know you're helping everyone.
Yes.
And now I understand the teacher part, because when you do address your guild at the meetings, you're really on target and make the best of it.
Well, thank you.
Your point across. Well, can you share with us then, really, what was your first inspiration to become a quilter?
My daughter, it just so happened, it wasn't planned, but when I retired, my daughter was pregnant with her first child.
I see.
And my friend Brenda said, oh, well, we can make her a quilt. And so we made some, what today I would not call quilts, but we made some blankets. And one day she said, let's check out this new store I heard about. So we went to Holt Summit and went to Rooster Creek, and I saw a quilt hanging up on the wall, and I said, I can do that. And here I am.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
So,
you're doing a great job. I've seen some of your work. It's really, shall we say, impressive, I guess, is the best word I can find. I didn't have to look
I've learned a lot, a whole lot.
And it shows from the very beginning. Now, how many years is this?
Well, my granddaughter is going to be 6. So I guess I've been quilting for a little over 6 years now.
And it shows you your work. We'll be demonstrating, well, not demonstrating, but showing some of the works here during the interview. Well, what continues then, continues to inspire you, motivate you to continue on with your level quilting?
Well, for one, I have more grandchildren now. But I have found that I just really enjoy it. I could spend the whole day, I think, sewing, and to me it's relaxing.
There's a key.
You know, to sit and relax and sew and see something develop out of the different little pieces of my material.
Yes.
I enjoy that so much.
And some people call it even therapeutic.
Yes.
And I've talked to interviewed different ones that you definitely can see where it can be therapeutic.
It is.
Relaxing, gives you something to do to keep your mind young, I guess, should we say. Well, do you have any words of inspiration for a beginner, or one who is maybe just sort of in the lull to pick up and need a little bit of a boost?
You know, if you're in a lull and need a boost, I think that maybe you need to try a different type of quilting. Like, I loved a paper piece. Brenda's not crazy about it, but I loved a paper piece. We're always making different kinds of things at Rooster Creek. One of the things we've been making lately, we've had a couple classes on rug making, and we've been doing some table runners. Sign up for a class at Rooster Creek. It's fun.
There's different patterns that
There's
you do.
There's always different patterns, lots of different classes.
All right, and you have people come in with demonstrations.
Yes, we do.
As our guest in the second segment, Miss Kadi Easley.
We do.
Brenda Bertine.
Yes, I've taken a couple of her classes, and they're very fun.
There's no reason not to be inspired as a beginner.
No.
Come on out to Rooster Creek.
Don't be afraid of it.
Or should we say, if you're in a lull, you need some inspiration. There's always, once you walk in and see quilts, you know, my first experience was sharpening for quilt gills. I could not believe, as an artist, and oils, I love to do oils, the artwork and what goes into it. Everything that I put on the canvas is in a quilt. Color combinations, color theories, perspective, all that. So I said right away, this is quilt art, you know.
Yes.
So yes, go ahead and come on out to Rooster Creek, and I'm sure the ladies will inspire you one way or the other.
Exactly.
Plus, there's good ice cream, I guess.
Yes, there is good ice cream. Unfortunately, that's another motivator to go there.
There you go, the third motivator. I knew we'd come up with a third. I understand that you're the chairperson for the Quilt Guild.
Yes, I am.
And so, would you like to tell us a little bit about the
Our Quilt Guild started, 4 or 5 years ago, just as a group of people that decided to get together one day every month and talk and visit and share what they had been making. And we have since become an official Quilt Guild, and we now have over 80 members. We welcome anybody, anytime, to come to one of our meetings. They don't have to be a member to come to our meetings. We meet the third Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. And then we also meet the following day on Thursday at 6 p.m. That way we have a time for working people and non-working people.
That's a great idea.
At our meetings, we talk about business. Unfortunately, there's always business that we have to take care of.
Sure.
We try not to dwell on it, but there is
And that's
a little
not
bit.
really painful.
No, not too much. I try not to let it get painful. We do a lot of service projects. We make pillowcases for Case for Smiles. We make blankets for the children in the NIC ICUs. We make isolette covers for ICU isolettes. We make surgery hats. That's our new big thing this year. We're making surgery hats for the little kids, and we are hearing that they love them.
That's super.
And so we do a lot of fun things.
It sounds like it. Now, we have had Miss Ginger Easley with the Case for Smiles.
Yes, that's who we give ours to.
So excellent. It's all part of the overall quilting efforts that go across Missouri and the United States.
Yes.
We're finding with the different guests representing some of the national foundations and have you. So we're really happy with that here on the program. So your next meeting, do you have a website or a newsletter?
We have a Facebook page, and Brenda could tell you more about the Facebook page. I am what we call electronically challenged.
I see, understand
So
that.
Brenda takes care of our Facebook page.
Well, let me ask you as a quilter, we tried to define here on the show because we learned early on that there's different ways to describe a person involved. Now, we have nouns using the word quilter, and we have a verb using a quilter, where maybe that's a machine quilter or a hand quilter, quilter as a quilter verb.
Right.
Now, how would you describe yourself as a quilter? Do you do it all?
I can do it all. I have used the long arm quilting machines, both with the computer and without the computer. I prefer to piece. I prefer to make the quilt and let somebody else
So you're
do
the
quilt.
piecer.
I'm the piecer. That's what I prefer to do.
Oh, I see.
I like to take those materials and turn them into something.
See, in my learning experience now, after these shows, I'm looking at number 9, and we've learned so much that different individuals can play different parts in the world of quilting. So therefore, you've defined yourself as a piecer. Some like to iron, some like to cut out, some like to, well, the old type. I was a tire when I was a youngster, for grandmother and mother, and so the old ties and stuff. So that's really interesting that we could define that. Well, do you have a favorite quilt style or pattern you love to work with? And do you have a quilt that you like to share with us? And tell us why it's your favorite.
Well, I really enjoy doing paper piecing, and I think the reason I like the paper piecing is because you can get such an intricate design, and they just come out perfect. My most recent project, I've been making a quilt for my daughter who is getting married next week. And so I just got finished making it. Now I have to turn it over for somebody to do the quilting on top of it.
And then you let go of your baby, in a sense, and hope it comes out all right.
It'll come out perfect, I know that.
We'll get kind of become partial to our pieces because we put so much into it. Well, I want to thank you so much for being on Quilting Inside and Out and inspiring us with your experiences and how it all came about with the first baby quilt and all. And the job, I'm going to compliment you on the job that you do there with the Rooster Creek Quilt Guild and the whole summit. Well, when we come back, did you have any final words?
Come out and give us a try.
Super.
Yeah.
Well, when we come back, we turn to Miss Schelly Smith, who will be inspiring you with more and some highlights on what's coming up. And she's got a couple helpers with her today. So stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Rooster Creek Quilting in Holtz Summit, Missouri is your one-stop shop for all your quilting needs and more. Their specialties include great customer rapport to assist you with finding that perfect fabric, notion, pattern, pre-cuts, and embroidery supplies. Rooster Creek also offers professional long-arm quilting services and classes and much more. Don't wait for the rooster to crow. Visit Rooster Creek Quilting at Holtz Summit Plaza, Holtz Summit, Missouri. It's a great place to go for all your quilting needs.
By purchasing a Children's Trust Fund license plate, you're helping to prevent child abuse and neglect in Missouri. Show your hands and get your license to care. Children's Trust Fund. Strong families. Safe kids. This is Sparky. Sparky loves the Children's Trust Fund because Sparky loves kids. And he wants you to help CTF by donating a portion of your tax fund. Look for the handprints on your tax form to donate. Sorry, Sparky. They're handprints, not paw prints. Being a parent can be challenging. During stressful times, stay calm and take deep breaths to relax before handling hectic situations. When stress heats up, keep your cool. Parent with Patience. Children's Trust Fund of Missouri. Strong families, safe kids.
Welcome back to Quilting Inside and Out, sponsored by Rooster Creek Company out of Holt Summit, Missouri, right here on JCTV, where you get the scoop on the world of quilting. I turn next to a very special guest, Miss Brenda Harvey, who's our guest this second segment. Welcome, Miss Harvey, and I understand you have a couple of guests that you'd like to introduce that's assisting today.
I do. This is my granddaughter, Ava Hunt, and this is her sister, Kinsley Hunt.
Oh, great. Well, Brenda, if I may call you by your first name.
Of course.
If you would, please tell us a little bit about you and those highlights of your life that best describe Brenda Harvey.
Well, I've lived in Jefferson City for about 35 years now. Both of my daughters live here, and I've got these two granddaughters and another granddaughter. Wow. So we have all girls, and they all love fabric. So we sew a lot, and these two love to sew. So they help me out a lot when I'm sewing.
So that's a blessing in itself, not to only have 4 granddaughters and 2 of them with us today. Welcome, Ava and Kims. Nice to have you on the show today. But also a blessing to be blessed with 4 granddaughters.
Oh, yes.
And interested in quilting.
Yes,
Super.
they are. My mother was a quilter.
I see.
And she did hand quilting, which I have yet to master.
Oh, hand quilting.
It's in the future, I hope.
Excellent. And so I guess would like to ask you next. Well, you mentioned mother or grandmother. How were you first inspired to become a quilter then?
Well, through my mother, because she made a lot of quilts and she did a lot of hand quilting. So she's the one that taught me how to sew quilts. My great-grandmother was a seamstress.
I see.
But my mother did quilting, and I much prefer the quilting rather than the seamstress part of it. So she taught me how to make quilts, and since I came to Jeff City, once the kids got older and I had the grandchildren, Schelly and I started going to Rooster Creek, and we were just hooked. From the first moment we went in.
And you're an inspiration there. You walk in automatically. Generally you meet Brenda or Schelly, and they definitely inspire you to look around, if not get interested in a new pattern, what have you. Well, what motivated Mother then? Would you say did she start making the quilts for her grandchildren like my grandmother did, my mother did, my mother, sister?
She was sewing pieces of quilts together when she was Ava's age, when she was 9. So she started when she was very young, sewing quilt pieces together.
So it's partly maybe still in the DNA.
Yeah, just genetics.
Yeah. Must be partly of the DNA.
And Rooster Creek was quite an inspiration. It's my home away from home.
Oh, excellent.
I'm there quite a bit.
Again, that's my next question. What continues to inspire you and motivate you to continue your love of quilting?
That would be Teresa Cuno, one of the owners at Rooster Creek. She's always coming up with a new idea. And she and Mike are always getting new fabric in and new patterns, and we have new classes, and you can't help but want to be involved.
Right.
So
now, how would you define yourself? As one of the nouns, or 2 or 3 of the nouns that we described earlier, as a piecer, or a cutter, or an ironer?
I like to piece things together. I like to piece quilts.
You're a piecer?
But I also like to do the long arm. I help Teresa on the long arm, and I like to do the quilting because you can get a feel for the quilt, and then you can pick your pattern and your thread, and then you see the whole quilt come together as more of a finished product.
As a finished product, and naturally you generally are doing that for someone,
usually
a customer,
for someone else, a customer.
Not only do you enjoy it, but your customer would also.
Yes, and you try to please the customers. You try to pick a design that's going to go with their quilt, that will suit what their needs are, and maybe what the reason they made the quilt. Some of them make them for a grandson that played basketball, so we'll put a basketball theme on the quilting. So there's a lot of different ways that you can integrate the quilt into the lives of the quilter.
Right. Now, there's a lot of patterns. I hear it throughout the quilting world. And from Sister, she's working on some pattern. I even have forgot it now. But do you have a favorite pattern that you like to work with?
I don't really have a particular pattern. I'm more of a pastel person. Some people like the bright, bold colors. I'm more the softer colors. And it's interesting when we do show and tell at guild meeting or when people bring their quilts in to be quilted, everybody has a different idea of what they like, and every quilt is different. Every quilt's a beautiful quilt to someone, and so it's just interesting, and it's fun to see all the different quilts that people make.
So you do have a show and tell as part of your meeting.
Yes,
also.
we do. Yes, we do.
Excellent.
And we have a lot of sewing days where people just come in and sew, and we work on our sewing projects or our service projects. So we just have a lot of fun. We enjoy being together.
Well, can you, in your own words, what words of inspiration that could you give to a beginner or someone that might be in a lull in their quilting, needs to be inspired?
Well, I think I would say that anyone can quilt. It doesn't matter whether you can even sew a straight seam or not. You can come to Rooster Creek and take a class, and if not Teresa, anyone out there will help you. That's the beauty of Rooster Creek. It's like a home, and it's very comforting, it's very relaxing, and you get help from anybody that's out there, and you can learn to sew and make your own creation.
I've noticed that it is like a family-oriented...
it is very family-oriented out there, and that is thanks to Mike and Teresa.
Yes, I agree, 100%.
Yes.
Some great people. Well, now I understand that you are the chairperson for the upcoming Rooster Creek Quilt Guild quilt show coming up at Holt Summit.
Yes, this is be our third annual quilt show. It's going to be held in July 12th, 13th, and 14th, and it will be in the Holt Summit Plaza right out there next door to Rooster Creek. So we will have lots of quilts on display, and people can vote for their choice. We will have lots of door prizes, demonstrations, vendors. There's going to be concessions. We're just going to have a lot of activities going on. And I think Ava could probably best tell you about the quilt show. She's our videographer and does our videos for the quilt show.
Well, great, Ava. Tell us all about give us the scoop on the quilt show.
Well, first, I'd like to say that when I was like 6, I got interested into quilting because I always got into Mimi's sewing room. So I kind of got, and then at 7, I made a video about, like, showed all the quilts and the fabric and stuff.
Yes.
And then I posted it because I knew how to do that stuff on Facebook. And
I see.
the next thing I know, I hop in the car from school, and Mimi's like, you didn't tell me that you made a video for Rooster Creek. I'm like, what? And she's like, that video that you posted on Facebook.
Yes.
And so I'm like, yeah.
So your talents are many, it sounds like, already.
Can you tell us about the quilt show?
Yeah, the quilt show, I've been there for like 2 of them, and there's just really interesting things there. Like, there is this poster board that I made with Mimi, and then there's all these beautiful quilts for like beds, and then your baby dolls, and then, yeah.
Different designs, different
Yeah.
patterns. I think if you've heard of a pattern or a design, it's going to be at the Rooster Creek show. So.
Yeah.
And they also have some entertainment, I understand,
Yeah.
scheduled. You want to tell us about that?
Tell them about the tea.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have tea
Thursday.
on Thursdays, and then
We'll be having a tea on Thursday, July 12th at 1 o'clock, and it will be held over at Mimi's and Papa's in Holt Summit. And tickets are on sale at Rooster Creek for $12. And then on Saturday, we will have our awards banquet, and it will be at Union Hill Baptist Church, and we will have Mark 209 performing. And they performed at our first quilt show, and they have been voted the best country gospel singers, I believe it's called, for 2 years. And so we're very, very glad to have them. They are an amazing group
Yes,
of performers.
I enjoyed their show, their presentation, I believe it was 2 years ago.
Yes, they're
when I
very
was there.
talented.
And
So
really-
the
and there's a dinner with that also.
Yes. The tickets for the awards banquet are $25, and that includes the awards, the banquet, and the entertainment. And those are also for sale at Rooster Creek and on Etsy at the Rooster Creek store. And tickets to the quilt show will be sold at the entrance to the quilt show or at Rooster Creek, and they're $5. So there will be a lot of interesting things going on at the quilt show, and we'd love to have everybody come out and join us.
And for the price of $5, it's quite a show. You'll enjoy it. If quilting is in your blood or in the family or in your DNA, whether you're an actual quilter or not, just the overall presentation of the quilts, it's something you should see. Some of them get large. Now, some of the quilts we'll be showing here during the conversation. You see some on the table. We'll be taking some shots of those, so we will incorporate that or those into and edit them into the program as we speak. And you can see the quality and the detail in these quilts. So do try to get to the quilt show. Up in
Also, we're
June.
going to have an addition to our quilt show this year for the first time. We're having a quilt appraiser. Hallie Bone will be at the quilt show all 3 days, and she will be appraising quilts for people.
And what was that name again?
Hallie Bone.
Hallie Bone, yes.
And she's $10 for a verbal appraisal, $40 for a written appraisal, and you can schedule an appointment by calling me or calling the store and schedule an appointment to get your grandmother's quilts or any of your quilts appraised. Right. And then Edie McGinnis from Kansas City will be here on Saturday, and she will be doing a trunk show at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon.
Oh, super. Can you give us a website for the Rooster Creek and also a telephone number that you all can be reached at for any questions?
Rooster Creek Company is the Facebook page, and the phone number is 573-896, what's the number, Schelly? 8025?
Yes, 896.
896-8025.
Super. That sounds like a nice little rhyme. 8025. Great. Well, Brenda and ladies,
Do you have anything else to say, Ava?
Ava, have anything else?
Yeah, I've been interested in quilting. When did I start?
When you were 7.
When I was 7.
Teresa gave you classes?
Yeah, I was taking classes, and they still do classes, so you could go there for classes, and yeah.
Tell them all to come to the quilt show.
And please all come to the quilt show. We also have videos of me presenting Rooster Creek videos at Facebook. Is it just you?
Rooster Creek Company.
Rooster Creek Company.
On Facebook.
On
Rooster
Facebook.
Creek Company.
Just
Okay,
look that
good.
up, and you'll find us. So.
Well, thank you, Ava, for your input today and giving us a scoop on the quilt show that's coming up July 12th, 13th, and 14th. I thank you all for being here.
Can I add something?
Yes, please do.
One
Schelly?
thing that Brenda didn't say that I'm going to add in is that we have 3 quilts that we are having charity drawing for this year. And the chances for the quilts are $1 a piece or 6 for $5. And the funds from the charity quilts will go to the food pantry in Holt Summit. And they are in desperate need of it and very excited. So be sure to support. They can go into Rooster Creek and do chances, or they can come to the quilt show and get some chances. It's a great way to win a beautiful quilt.
Thank
and
you
our
very
quilt guild made 2 of the 3
Oh,
quilts.
super, great. Well, thank you once again for being here. We're just about out of time.
Yeah.
And so thank you for being here, and it's been a great interview, everyone. And so we'll be seeing you at the quilt show, I'm sure.
Yeah.
After the break, we meet Kadi Easley, who will not only share with you her world of quilting, but also a technique that she's developed called strip and turn. So stay with us. We'll be right back for another 30 minutes special with Miss Kadi Easley.
I am folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No. They go on.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Nice.
Yes, go! Yes!
No.
Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to Quilting Inside and Out. Thanks for sticking with us. I'm your host, Rick Jey, and I now turn to a very special guest. I'd like to introduce to you Miss Kadi Easley of Fulton, Missouri. Welcome to Quilting Inside and Out, Miss Easley. We here at Quilting Inside and Out feel very fortunate to have you with us and have you share with us not only in detail your experience with quilting and all that it entails over the past years, but also a demonstration that you'll be sharing with our viewers called Strip and Turn, I believe. So, Kadi, if I may call you by your first name, can you share with us the origin and highlights of your life that best describe Kadi Easley?
The origins and highlights. I'm a mom.
Great.
And a grandma.
And a grandma.
Yeah, I got a little granddaughter. She's awesome. And a dog wrangler. I have several puppies at the house.
Very well behaved, by the way.
Well, this guy is. He's the only one I can take out in public.
That is your patchwork dog.
Yep.
In the sense of an excellent dog, I tell you. What breed would you say he is?
He is a lab.
He's a lab.
Yeah, he is a lab.
I noticed. I wish I had my puppy with me. He was good.
Yeah, this guy's easy to travel with, much easier than the real thing.
I understand. Great. Well, Kadi, can you share with us when or how you was first inspired to become a quilter?
I probably started my mom passed away in 2009.
Oh, I see.
And for some reason, I thought I needed to cut up all her clothes and make a quilt out of them. And I had never quilted. I did sew, but I had never quilted.
Super.
And so I cut up all her clothes, and I made not one quilt, but one for all my kids and her sister and my dad. And finally, when I got down to the dregs of the scraps, I made one for me. And,
excellent.
And it was kind of fun. So when I finished those, I just started buying fabric, and still am.
And still well represented in the quilt world of quilting, should I say. Your work speaks well, following you for the last 3 or 4 years.
It's a lot of fun and very addictive.
Addictive,
yes.
And I guess somewhat therapeutic.
It is very therapeutic. It really is.
We lost our mother in 2009 also, so I can relate to that.
Yeah, it is.
And that's why we ask these questions on your personal basis, because they all seem like we can relate with each person.
Yeah, anytime you create art, regardless of how you're doing it, it's a therapeutic. It's a purge. It's good for you.
There's a foundation. There's a meaning behind it.
Yeah.
There's a start behind it.
It makes you feel better. It releases tension and eases stress.
And so we'll share that with our viewers, that it's definitely a great stress reliever and therapeutic. So you was first inspired basically then by, on your own, just picked it up way back to grandmother? Or
all my grandmothers and my mom were quilters, but I liked quilts, but I never really showed much interest. I never just had the burning desire to make one. But when I decided that I needed to make quilts out of all my mom's clothes, I went back to Little House on the Prairie, the book, because Laura Ingalls was always working on a 9-patch quilt for her doll. She was always making a doll quilt, and I figured if a tomboy like her could make a quilt, it was probably something I could do. So all the quilts that I made out of my mom's clothes are all 9 patches.
Well, that is quite a story. That's a foundation that we all can again relate to.
Yeah.
House on the Prairie. That is really inspiring and awesome. Well, then what continues now to inspire you to maintain your love for quilting?
Well, I haven't made all of them I want to make yet. I have a file with the list and pictures of quilts that I want to make, and I won't probably live long enough to make them all.
Oh, I hear
so
you.
many,
Oh.
so many pretty ones. And then you can't walk into the fabric store and not buy some beautiful fabric. So as my collection of fabric grows, I have to make more quilts, or I don't have room for more fabric.
I understand.
Just keep cutting it up.
That's one way to make room for new.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's. I have a question I always ask as a quilter. How would you describe yourself? But there's so many areas that you'll see that Kadi is involved with in this next 25 minutes. She just covers a large territory in the world of quilting, whether it be a technique, a pattern, or what have you. She's got the complete story, the scoop as we call it here, on what's going on in her world of quilting. So would you want to say you do it all?
I can do it all. I don't enjoy all of it.
And what phase is your most?
I really don't care for the quilting. I can do it.
I see.
But I can't say I don't like it, because that's not true. I do enjoy it,
right.
But I enjoy piecing so much more that I just end up with stacks and stacks of quilt tops until I can afford to pay somebody else to quilt them, because I'm too busy making new ones to
So you're a piecer, and
like
what you're going to
piece.
demonstrate with these beautiful tools here, you're going to demonstrate strip and turn and explain to us how that also comes
Yeah, and
into
what
the...
it does is make it look like you really did a lot of piecing, and you really didn't. So it's a much more complicated looking quilt than it actually was to make.
I see, but it's all can be done with what you're going to see in her demonstration. That'll be after the break, so stay with us. But, well, we all have favorites that are favorites to us for any reason. Can you share with us a couple of your favorites that's finished? I know some of these will go up during our conversation.
Actually, probably my favorite quilt that I have is not one of mine. It's a Hunter Star that I made for my bed, and it's my favorite quilt I've ever made. And
Excellent.
I have a little dog that's chewed 3 holes in it now. So,
I see. Well, so he's on his best behavior today, but...
yeah, well, not this guy. This guy wouldn't chew a hole in a quilt, but his brother does.
His brother does. Super. Great. Well, Kadi, at this point, we'll let you basically set up your love of patchwork dog and your strip and turn technique by sharing that both play a big role in the development of your favorites, and you'll be demonstrating the technique in a few minutes. Do you have a little bit of a teaser that you'd like to share with our viewers as we go to right before we go to break?
Yeah, the patchwork dog is kind of an umbrella. It covers a lot of things, all quilt related, but different aspects of the business. But the number one thing is the strip and turn template, and that is what I'm going to demonstrate after the break.
Super. Look forward to it. I've seen this many times before with Kadi at different locations, and that's why I was so excited about having Kadi join us here on Quilting Inside and Out to share this with you also. So Kadi will be taking a break and set up while we're on that break, and we'll look at a more important message from also for our sponsor, Rooster Creek Company. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Rooster Creek Quilting in Holt Summit, Missouri is your one-stop shop for all your quilting needs and more. Their specialties include great customer rapport to assist you with finding that perfect fabric, notion, pattern, pre-cuts, and embroidery supplies. Rooster Creek also offers professional long-arm quilting services and classes and much more. Don't wait for the rooster to crow. Visit Rooster Creek Quilting at Holt Summit Plaza, Holt Summit, Missouri. It's a great place to go for all your quilting needs.
We can all be energy savers. It's easy. Turn off lights. use energy-saving light bulbs. And turn off electronics and appliances when not in use. Make a change and we can really fly. Learn more at energy.gov/kids.
Welcome home, man.
Welcome back once again to Quilting Inside and Out. We continue now with Miss Kadi Easley, who will be demonstrating her technique known as strip and turn. So Kadi, I'll turn it over to you.
Alrighty. Well, this is the strip and turn template. It is 6.5 inch square. It has several different markings on it that are used for different patterns. For the original one, which is what I'm going to demonstrate to you today, we are just going to use this bottom line across the center. So what you need to make a strip and turn quilt are fabric strips, 2.5 inch strips, and in the middle of this one, we're going to put a 1.5 inch strip. So if you'll notice, the quilt that we're working on top of here is actually the quilt made from these strips. So we'll give a better look at that in a little bit and see how we got from this to this. So through the magic of television, we're going to get rid of those. And Yadi here, he's going to hold them for me. And I'm going to show you that we now have
beautiful
a full strip set. Okay? It's with the fabric. And we are going to use our strip and turn template on this strip set to cut out our blocks that we're going to build with. So I've got a little piece of a strip set here so I can show you exactly how to place the template without having it flop all over the place. So what we do is the center line was 1.5 inch fabric strip, and the bottom line on the template says 1.5 inch line. It's very clear. And we're going to place the 1.5 inch line on the bottom of the 1.5 inch strip, and then we are just going to cut it out and hope it's not too soft to cut here. All right. So there is our strip. That's what we got from our strip and turn template. You will get 5 of those out of every strip set. So one strip set gives you 5 blocks. You only need 4 of them to make your quilt block. So we're going to arrange them to make a pinwheel this first time.
Ah, I see the pinwheel.
So we put this color, we're going to match this color in the center and just rotate the blocks each time. And there we have a block that has a dark blue pinwheel. Or we can rotate the block and make it into an X. Now it doesn't matter which way you put it, you're going to end up with pinwheels. But if your pinwheel color matches in the center, then you'll have 2 different colored pinwheels. If you make the X, your pinwheels will be multicolored. So that's something to think about when you're choosing your fabric. It is so simple. I've actually had a lady in one of my classes that had never used a sewing machine before, and she had absolutely no problem at all doing it.
So this is
the finished block. This is the original pinwheel block. And we will scoot this out of the way, and you guys can look at this original pinwheel quilt, which is
okay. Yeah, might have to stand on the.
Alrighty, that's what you get. Now, here, I'll put this one aside. Thank you. The pattern for the original pinwheel also includes directions for sashing And this is what it looks like if it's sashed.
And sashing?
The sashing is the fabric in between the blocks. And what that does is spread everything out. And what you'll notice here is that this pinwheel has exploded. So you still have your pinwheels in the center, and you still have the secondary pinwheel, but because of the sashing, it's changed shape, so it changes the whole character.
So it's almost like movement within the piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
To the eye.
And this has got some crazy fabric in it, so it's got a lot of movement going on anyway.
So that's, again, the movement there of the...
This is actually the original strip and turn quilt. This is the very first one that was made. And I got it. So if you don't mind, I will show you some other things that can be done with the strip and turn template.
Please, yeah.
There's only one template. All of these quilts are made with the same template. And that was important to me because I didn't want to invent something that could only do one thing. So this one is also made from strip sets. They're 5-inch strips. And this one is called Flower Power. And another one made from 5-inch strips. This is called Square Dance. This is one of my favorites. And I don't know whether it's because of the quilt or the fabric, but I just absolutely love this one.
Very nice.
It makes me happy.
Subtle colors.
It is really nice. The lady that designed that fabric line is actually from Fulton, Missouri.
Ah, super.
She owns one canoe too, I think. This is called the Little Patriotic 9-Patch. A little bit more difficult than the other two, but not hard. There's no strip and turn pattern that I would call hard. They're all very easy for any skill level. And I'm anxious to see somebody do this one in different colors.
This is really impressive.
This one turned out really elegant. This one's called Ninja Stars. I actually wanted to invent a pattern that would appeal to little boys. And so I came up with Ninja Stars, and I was really happy with it, and I chose this fabric, and when I finished it, it was so elegant that if I had a little boy I was going to give it to, I would have made him something else.
I think that would appeal to big boys too.
Yeah, it's very pretty. I just love the fabric in that one. All right, something fun. This is made with 5-inch squares, which we call charm packs in the quilting world. And I just used scraps that I had in my sewing room, 5-inch leftovers from other projects. This is called Butterfly Baby. It can be made bigger, smaller, or whatever. I just wanted to make a baby quilt with butterflies on it. So.
And again, it's used with the strip and turn.
It is made, all of these are made with the strip and turn template. This one, difficulty level up just a smidgen, but I still wouldn't call it more than intermediate. It's not a difficult quilt. This is my favorite of all. This one is called Stars in the Sky. This is also the easiest strip and turn pattern. This quilt you can do in an afternoon.
It's beautiful also.
It is easy, it's fast, it's elegant, and it's fun. I've seen people actually make all the stars a different color, so it's just kind of, it's just a lot of fun, really easy.
These are all your ideas.
Okay, these are all patterns that are out now and available at Rooster Creek or on my website, which is stripandturn.com. These next 3, I think there's 3 here, are new patterns that should be available in the next 2 weeks. I will definitely have them at the quilt show.
Oh, great.
But they're at the printers now, so we're waiting on them.
That's July 12th, 13th, and 14th for those that just tuned in.
Brand new pattern called, let me hang on to it, called Sea and Sky. I just thought it kind of looked like ocean waves, and I wish I was at the ocean, so.
Very nice.
And this one is called Granny's House. We got it sideways, don't we? Here, let you have that corner. This is called Granny's House. I finished this, I hung it up on my design wall, and I just decided it looked like something that I would snuggle up in Granny's house on. Just looked like a quilt that would be on her bed that I could go snuggle up with.
That
so
definitely looks like.
Yeah, it's very old-fashioned looking, and I again just used scraps that I had around the house for this one. I didn't buy any fabric. I am going to make one out of planned fabric, one of these days just to see how it looks, but this one's just a scrap quilt, which are the best.
Beautiful.
All right, last new one today. This one is just called Chevrons. And I just wanted to do something with a black background. I wanted something to really pop. Wow, there's threads all over these. Anyway, this one's called Chevrons, super easy. This one, again, the pattern will definitely be available by the quilt show and hopefully at Rooster Creek in the next 2 weeks or so.
That's beautiful too.
And that is it. This one that my patchwork dog is standing on, I don't know whether you guys can see it very well. This one's called Double Diamond. It's one of the original patterns. I believe it's the second one that came out. And this is a really fun one to do. And also very easy.
Very nice and very talented. You've really
thank you.
are able to offer our viewers and all quilters across the nation your technique. It's very impressive.
Well, thank you. It's very easy. What I wanted to do is make something where anybody could sit down and make a quilt they'd be proud of. And the strip and turn template lets you do that. You can pick out a pattern and...
Well, it's a great demonstration and technique. I'm sure our viewers will be looking more into your technique and come and see you at the quilt show.
I will definitely be there. Looking forward to talking to them.
So on behalf of Quilting Inside and Out, Rooster Creek Company, and yours truly, Rick Jey, I want to thank you once again for being my guest here today and for the very informative content and demonstration.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
All right. I will see you again.
Thanks.
All right. And now, the scoop in the world of quilting. I'd like to advise you that definitely the Rooster Creek Quilt Show is coming up next within the overall schedule that we have here. If you have a quilt show, what have you, that you'd like for me to cover during the moments giving you the scoop, let me know. So again, Rooster Creek Quilt Show, Holt Summit, Missouri, July 12th, 13th, and 14th. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The Ozark Peacemakers of Springfield, Missouri have the date set for the upcoming 2018 quilt show. That's September 29th, the 30th, in 2018. So check their website also for more details. That's the Ozark Peacemakers of Springfield, Missouri. Always a large, great show. Cape Girardeau, Missouri will host their 2018 quilt show on the same dates, actually, September 29th and 30th. So not only could you stop in Springfield, but head on down to Cape Girardeau and see what's happening at that quilt show. The last one I have to mention is the Ozark Hills Quilting Quilt Guild Show. That's October 13th, 2018 in Camdenton, Missouri. So put those on your calendar and hopefully we'll see you there. So again, contact me, Rick Jey, 573-645-4507, or Rooster Creek Company at 573-649-4789, and give us the scoop on what's happening in your world or your Quilt Guild's world, so we can get them on the show and let our viewers know what's really going on in the world of quilting. We are dedicated in the effort to get the scoop out to our viewers here on Quilting Inside and Out. Once again, I want to thank JCTV producer Gloria Enlow and the crew today, Jay and Nick. There we go. And and we thank you, our viewers, for tuning in here on JCTV, Quilting Inside and Out. Don't forget to check us out also on YouTube. So until next time, remember, it's all right here, JCTV and on YouTube. I'm Rick Jey saying see you next time.
Rooster Creek Quilting in Holt Summit, Missouri is your one-stop shop for all your quilting needs and more. Their specialties include great customer rapport to assist you with finding that perfect fabric, notion, pattern, pre-cuts, and embroidery supplies. Rooster Creek also offers professional long-arm quilting services and classes and much more. Don't wait for the rooster to crow. Visit Rooster Creek Quilting at Holt Summit Plaza, Holt Summit, Missouri. It's a great place to go for all your quilting needs.